What's up, comic and pop culture fans? I made a video talking about the toughest runs to put together from the 80s up to today. Well, now we're going to do the easiest ones out there. The stuff I see time and time again, and usually I'm able to find it in full runs. One key detail for this list is I talked about in the last video how there's a lot of the final issues in the run that really fell off and are really hard to get. These runs, you're not going to have a problem with that. You're going to be able to get the later issues just as easily as you were the first half. Don't forget about our 50,000 subscriber winner. Let's get it started. Oh, real quick, I'm going to be set up at Golden Nugget, a flea market in New Jersey. If you got nothing better to do, come on down, say hi. We are going to do some percentages off if you can show that you are subscribed to the channel. And I will have slabs, I'll have posters, I'll have everything. We're going to have a total blast. First up, Excalibur. This actually could be number one. There are 125 issues, and I think this is the one on the list in which I actually find as a full run the most. Many times I've run into in other competitive comic book shops, honestly, even out in the wild, wherever on eBay, a lot of people sell the full run of Excalibur. There are little keys. I don't even pick them up. I think Excalibur is a little bit of a dog in terms of key collectability, but a fun read, which is what it's all about. Entry-level people trying to get that thrill of completing a run, I would go for Excalibur. Let's get our X's out of the way. The next easiest is going to be X-Force. There's 129 issues, and I think the most expensive book is like 116 at 20 bucks. I think we can do this. King of the dollar bins, especially those real early issues. The real early issues you actually might be able to get for like 50 cents each. They're so doable. Now, there are pockets of keys in there. You know, we got your 8, your 11. There's little ones that are going to cost more than the dollar bin stuff, but so many of those like first 50 issues, I guess, are unbelievably easy to find. They're in every single shop that does dollar bins, I promise you. Okay, XFactor. Just one pinch harder than X-Force, mainly because of 5 and 6. And maybe 24. So your first appearance of Apocalypse and your first Archangel, big deal. The rest of this stuff, even the little tiny keys, fall in that like $3 to $4 range. Most of the other fluff are going to be about $1 or again 50 cents. This stuff is extremely easy to find. If you're able to get it all in bulk, you could probably get an amazing deal on. I know I sold a full run last year. I don't remember the condition of everything, but I think it was $275 for the full run. So it's very easy. I see it listed on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, eBay all the time. Piece of cake. Next is sadly one of the only DC entries on this list. Marvel is just more popular than DC to a degree that I never knew, apparently, because it's a lot easier to get Marvel than it is DC. But you can get your hands on this DC. Detective Comics Post-Crisis. So issue 568 all the way up to New 52, so 881. That's a nice stretch of books there. That's the largest run on this list. So you think large, it's going to be hard to collect. No, this is another king of the dollar bin, man. Detective Comics. You can absolutely find this for dirt cheap. I got super lucky, like, I don't know, 7 years ago or something. I actually made a video about this, in which there was like a brand new eBay seller. He ended at 3 in the morning. He did everything wrong. And I was able to get a full run for 60 some dollars, and I think with free shipping. So that's a little crazy, but you can get this run for extremely cheap as well. It's funny, Batman from the same time is noticeably harder to collect than Detective Comics. Detective Comics, easy. Batman, not so easy. West Coast Avengers. 102 issues here. You got a couple keys that go over the $10 mark. Big deal. If you can get it in bulk, you're probably going to be paying under that. Your biggest challenge is going to be 94 and issue 45. So your first War Machine, as well as the first White Vision. If those are the most expensive books in your way, you got a pretty easy run to collect. And this is also one that I often find together, or at least in a nice little run where you can pick the whole thing up for dirt cheap. There's a lot of like $5 books that go unnoticed, and so they float in dollar bins at just $1. This is a very easy run. I think it must have had a pretty high print count back in the day, because I do find that a lot. Next up is Alpha Flight. There's 130 issues, and unless I'm just completely drawing a blank, I feel like number 1 and 33 really are the only ones that could maybe be a $20 bill. I might be forgetting one later in the run, but I don't think I am. Yeah. So, okay, you got $40 tied up in 2 books right there. The rest of it is totally skirting under the radar. There are some even $10 keys, which a lot of people just don't know, and it just goes right under. You could probably do some dollar bin hunting and find this. I have unintentionally completed several runs of this when I've just been buying in massive bulk from people and yard sales and flea markets and stuff. Who knows how many times I've completed that run and didn't even know it. I mean, it's crazy. Next is going to be a more recent entry, Hickman Avengers. This is one of the smaller runs. There's only 46 issues, so it's not that much of a challenge, but it is more recent, so it's not part of that 80s, 90s crazy print count, but it was still very popular. So it did have a pretty respectable print count for its time. 46 issues. There are some keys hidden within. Whatever. This gets sold as a full run all the time. Very easy to collect, and people like to collect it because it was very critically acclaimed. Hickman actually could have had another entry on this list as well, but we're going to stick with his Avengers right now. All right, next one. This is going to be the hardest one on this list of easiest one. Wolverine, the 1988-89 series. There's 189 issues. And I say it's the most hard because I think some of the issues near the end might not be so commonly found, but you can find them on eBay in my comic shop for so cheap. Your biggest problems are issue 88, and there's a couple $15 and $20 books nearer to the beginning of that run. Also, issue 1 can be up to like $75, $80. Issue number 8 can be up to $75, $80. You got some hurdles there. That's why I think this is the toughest one. But it is one of the ones I see the most. So if you don't want to pay, you might be able to just hold out hope. You might be able to pay cheaper with someone else because everyone has this for sale. I see full runs of this sold all the time. I see pockets of it sold all the time. I think you'll find Wolverine is very manageable. Next one's going to be Spider-Man from 1990. Now, we're talking 1990 here, so you think, oh, the back half of that had that whole comic boom collapse fall off, right? Actually, no, Spider-Man survived it a little bit. So while a lot of runs are hard to collect in the late 90s because a lot of people dropped off with their pull lists, this seems to be one I am able to find all 98 issues of. Now remember, at some point, I forget what, they actually switched it to Peter Parker Spider-Man. That's just the second half of that run. It's all the same run. There are no major keys or honestly even mid-level keys in this entire run. Todd McFarlane started it, very extremely popular with some crazy print counts out the gate. So you can definitely get the first 20 issues I see every week. I've seen 1 through 20 every single week of my life in the last 5 years. That's how common I see this. This could have been a candidate for number 1, quite honestly. Next is going to be Web of Spider-Man 129. So Web of Spider-Man is only going to give you trouble when you get into that Kraven's Last Hunt arc. If you're hunting near mints especially, there's some covers there that are a little expensive, $30, $40 maybe. And, maybe there's some other things. Number 1's like a $20 book. You got your first appearance of Spot around the $100 mark. There's little things that might be obstacles for you in this run, but that's kind of fun to have a run like that. There's not a ton of issues. There's 129 issues. Actually, that's a little less than I thought. And this is one that's a little bit more major that does feel really good to accomplish here. Next up is going to be Batman Rebirth, or the Batman Tom King run, which is actually a great run. Don't listen to anybody. They kind of have a point about the end of the run, but whatever. Tom King Batman, or Batman Rebirth, there's 85 issues. I see this sold as a set all the time. I've got one on my eBay, full run. It's very easy to find. It's interesting, it had more issues than the new 52 Batman run, and yet it's like 10 times easier to collect than new 52 Batman. You have that whole double date issue, $15 if you find a near mint. If that's your most expensive book, I think you're doing pretty good. The keys are just too recent to garner any sort of big value. I think the most you got like a $5 book, maybe The Death of Alfred, or I liked it a lot, especially the first like 55 issues, and I've been very unapologetic about that. Next is New Teen Titans. There are 91 issues if you also get into the Tales of the Teen Titans, which takes over the numbering. So the whole run, I just call it kind of Teen Titans. There's 91 issues. We're talking about the Wolfman Perez run here. This was actually DC's bestseller at the time, which was going toe-to-toe with Marvel, who was just kicking their butts at this time. So a lot of people have it. Now, the funny thing is, there's a lot of key significance, but because it has such a high print count, a lot of those ones you can kind of get some good deals on. Some $10 books that you might be able to get for $5, some $15 books you might be able to get for $10, or maybe even also $5. There's some good ones. The most expensive book you're going to run into is 44, first appearance of Nightwing, and frankly, that book has come down so much I don't even recognize the price tags I'm seeing on this thing. Mid-grade copies selling for like $20-30. What has happened, man? And the mother of all easy runs. There's 207 issues, mind you. X-Men, 1990. Got to be the easiest one out there. If you're going all the way up to when they changed it to New X-Men and then went back to X-Men, there's 207 issues. Some people just collect up to right around the point of before they changed to New X-Men. That's cool. That's even easier. Honestly, I think it's when they went to New X-Men, that's when it might have a possible little bit of being hard. There's some $10 and $20 and $30 books in there. Big whoop. If you buy this all in bulk, you're getting it for a song, man. I said I see SpiderMan, the 1990 series, once a week. I probably see X-Men 1 through 20 every day. Yeah, probably every day. I believe this is the highest print count comic run of all time. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but everybody and their dog and their alligator has this. If you want to feel that joy of collecting a full run, I think you're going to have the easiest time with this stuff right here. Drop down any below that I might have missed. I'm also curious to hear if you have any DC entries. I really couldn't come up with any, but maybe you guys have one. Drop it below. See you at the next video and keep on hunting.
Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.